Okay, we are live. Welcome to an afternoon with the Sueltenfuss Library and the Academic Center for Excellence. The pandemic has pushed us all to adapt to new situations. And we at OLLU directed this change to be a source of positivity and inspiration. Usually, an event like this, open house, would be in person in the library in ACE, limited to those students, staff, faculty who are on campus for the day. But now, an online event format like this gives us the ability to invite our students, staff, faculty, and alumni from all OLLU campuses across the nation to be part of our virtual open house. So welcome. Today, we're going to share with you the many academic support resources available right now. This virtual event is being recorded and will be posted on the ACE at OLLU YouTube page tomorrow. So don't worry if you miss something or if you have to leave the stream, okay? We're going to have it up and it'll be archived. You can view it at any time. For all parents or friends of OLLU and alumni watching, we invite you to ask questions or leave comments in the YouTube live chat. Sam or myself will be monitoring this chat so that we can answer your questions. I realize Sam should probably give you the YouTube link. That's okay. We'll get there. You can also email a question to writing@ollusa.edu and we'll answer it during the stream if you need to. Again, that's writing, WRITING, at OLLUSA.edu. If you're watching this after it's been posted on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment and we'll respond as soon as we can. Okay, let's get into it because you're here for the meat of this. Let's talk library. Author Marilyn Johnson wrote, "A library is a place to go for a reality check, a bracing dose of literature, or a true reflection of our history, whether it's a brick and mortar building constructed a century ago, or a fanciful arrangement of computer codes. The librarian is the organizer, the animated spirit behind it, and the navigator. Her job is to create order out of the confusion of the past, even as she enables us to blast into the future." So it's my honor right now to introduce the director, or should I say navigator, of Our Lady of the Lake University's Sueltenfuss Library, Maria Cabanis. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Sabrina. I really like that quote.
Oh, thank you. I did some research.
Yeah, I know a lot of library quotes, but I'm not familiar with that one, so that was nice.
Ironically enough, that came from a book about library science and information. So I prepared. So I know you're actually right down the hall from the ACE here on the first floor of the library. But how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's a whole new semester, so that's always an exciting time. And of course, there's a lot of changes on campus right now, but things are going pretty well. So
That's great. And just for anybody watching, we are, minding spatial distancing. Masks were worn. We're all in different places. I, in fact, am out in the middle of the ACE. My closest friend is my little Harry the hippo behind me, and he's 6 feet away. Okay, so, excuse me. Maria, can you give us some history about the library?
Sure. So the Sueltenfuss Library it opened in 2000. So students who are familiar with the San Antonio campus will know the Walter Center, and that is where the library was formerly located before they opened the Sueltenfuss Library. So in the 1990s, now former President Sister Elizabeth Ann Sueltenfuss, she really wanted to make sure that the library, as we were moving into a new century and a new millennium, that as an academic community, we had a library that was going to move us forward into that new era in terms of space and technology and things that students really needed that wasn't necessarily being adequately met by the old library. So they started that process in the 1990s. Obviously, it takes a while to raise the funds, which she was very key to being able to raise all the funds to build the building and do all the architectural plans. And so that was throughout the 1990s. And then it opened in 2000, I believe in October of 2000 was the ribbon cutting, which means this year is our 20th anniversary. So that's a very exciting time for the library. And I think one of the things that's really cool about the her legacy and the legacy of the library, which were named after her because of her key role in building the new library, is that she, when asked about, you know, this new building, which was a really big part of her legacy of service to the university, she said that she was asked about it in interviews when the library opened, and she said that she really wanted the library to be a cathedral for learning. And I always really liked that because I think it really captures kind of hopefully our mission and our goal, but also like what you were reading about libraries, kind of like what our ultimate goal is as a space to learn. And so that changes over time, as you were kind of talking about, but that is sort of the core mission. So, and the other thing is she called it a cathedral for learning, which is also really interesting because if anybody that's familiar with the building or even from the outside will notice that it kind of looks like a cathedral. So it has a cathedral architecture and the large windows and kind of the chapel shape. So in fact, a lot of students comment on it when they first come on campus that maybe they thought it was a chapel because of its architecture. So I think that's one of the really neat kind of design components of the library. And that's our building. That's how we came to be the Sueltenfuss Library.
That's a lot of history and an awesome history, I think. So it's 25 years, correct? Or 20?
20. So we opened in 2000. I'm like, it's not 2025 yet. All right, we're still in 2020. So yeah, 20 years anniversary this year. So we'll be doing more to celebrate that anniversary. And students and alumni and every members of the OLLU community can expect to be hearing more about how we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary. And it's really even more special because it's also the university's 125th anniversary. So the two anniversaries coincide. So I think that's really special.
That is, it's amazing. So, you know, my time slip is partly due to, as we all know, kind of pandemic brain and, you know, being alone and working remotely. But what are some of the changes that the library has kind of undergone because of the pandemic and prepping for students and staff?
Yeah, so this summer when we were planning on reopening, so we've always been open. This is important to know. We've always been open, but we did move all of our services remote in March when the start of the pandemic happened. So, however, so we've been doing all kinds of things to make sure that students still have access to the services and resources from the library. But throughout the summer, we were getting ready to reopen our doors to students, and that, you know, the pandemic presented quite a unique challenge, an unprecedented challenge, because the library is an open communal space and we really want to encourage collaborative work. And so that's just not something that, you know, you can necessarily accommodate in a pandemic. So we had to really rethink and are still rethinking how students can use our space and take advantage of our resources here in the building, despite, you know, everything else going on. So some of the things that you mentioned, socially distancing, wearing masks, changes to room capacity of some of our spaces. We've changed our layout a little bit, so we have some furniture in spaces we didn't before, but more individual seating. And some of the areas of the library are going to be kind of restricted access, at least for now. And as the situation in our community changes, which hopefully it will continue to improve, then hopefully we're able to open up and allow students to use additional parts of our spaces. But the great thing is we have a little video that kind of talks about all of the little changes that we're making that students should know about before they come to the library to study. So it's a really quick little video, and I don't know if we have that queued up, but it really covers all of our changes.
To keep everyone safe and strong when accessing library services, the following changes are being implemented. Curbside pickup will be available Monday through Friday during community hour from the library's parking lot. When entering the library, you will be required to use your ID and enter the building through the first floor doors that have card swipe access. Hand sanitizing stations are being installed throughout the building. Ask that you sanitize your hands upon entrance. Additionally, face masks are required to be worn while in the building. Floor decals and signs have been installed to remind you to stay 6 feet apart. Study areas on the second floor have been adapted for single use. Access to the third floor, group study rooms, and library stacks is restricted for the fall semester. If you need help retrieving a book, visit the circulation desk or make a request online. Plexiglass has been installed at the library's service desk to ensure the health and safety of both library patrons and employees. Occupancy in the IS lab has been reduced and workstations will be at least 6 feet apart. Visit the library information desk for help or use the library website to submit a question through email or our chat service. This semester, reference appointments and consultations will be offered virtually using Skype or WebEx. New building hours will be updated on our website and virtual hours will be extended to midnight, Monday through Thursday. You can find out more about the library's reopening plan and what to expect during your next visit on our website at library.ollusa.edu.
Wow, that was a great video. Had all the information everybody needs. It's awesome. You know what? One of the things I think is interesting, right? We're all trying to figure out here on campus is, making sure that we are functioning and keeping all of our students safe. So with, more students now studying online, but away from campus, what do you have available for those students who may not be able to come to the library or who just, worry about coming in person?
Sure. So one of the things that's true about our campus is we've always had students that are online or distant, so they aren't with us physically here on the San Antonio campus. And so we've always been really paid attention to making sure that our services and resources are accessible. And then, as I mentioned earlier, that the pandemic, it put us. We wanted to increase that and make sure that was doubly true now that there's more limited access to some of the services in the building. So the primary way that we make the library available to students, no matter where they are or whenever they want to visit us, is through our website. That's really the portal where students can take advantage of everything that we have to offer. And so that's access to our electronic resources, which include journal subscriptions, databases, streaming video, as well as access to our catalog of our physical holdings. And it's also where you can go to ask a librarian a question or watch a tutorial or visit one of our library guides to get started on research. So there's just a lot available on our website to really help students in their research and work, and also contact us. And the great thing is that we recently over the summer did an update to our website because we wanted to make sure that it's user friendly and very easy for our students to navigate. And so we have a new version, and we have another little video that kind of highlights the changes and updates to the website and what it looks like, and how you can access it to use the library.
Welcome to our new digital library experience. We made a few changes to improve your interaction with our site, but our content and structure has largely remained the same. Our newest feature is a drop-down menu at the top of the page, where you can find information for getting materials from the library, learn more about library services, get help with writing and citing in your papers, and learn more about the library. We still have our OneSearch interface for searching our vast collection of books, video, and articles. And under the box, you'll find access to our databases. You can search for journal titles and browse our library guides. Find quick and easy access to our popular services, such as course readings, and our Get It For Me Interlibrary Loan program. Check out what we're doing with study rooms this semester, and you can find readily available information through our Ask a Librarian source. And don't forget, whenever you're on our website and need help, look for the chat, and we're happy to speak with you. Thanks for visiting our new digital library homepage. Stay safe, be well, and wings up.
I muted myself for too long. Awesome. So we have reference librarians in place, right? I mean, everybody's still available. No, students, if you're watching, that you do have access, even if you're not here in person, you can make appointments with our reference librarians. They are available via email, phone, Skype. We're all utilizing Skype and online services right now. So anything else, Maria, on like services available for students who may not want to physically be in the building or?
Yeah, so you mentioned, well, in the video on some of the changes to the library, we have our curbside pickup service. So students can go on and they can actually indicate what books they want to check out, and then they can pick them up either from the library circulation desk or curbside during the week, during community hour. Chat, which was mentioned in the website video, is another really important resource because it gives you live access to library support from wherever you are. And so our building hours have changed. So they're more limited now than they were before the pandemic, but our virtual hours have expanded. So we're providing live service support to students during the week up until midnight. So that's a really great way for students to get in touch with us. Another area would be our Get It For Me service. So students at our distance campuses can get books sent to them, and they can also request interlibrary loan. So interlibrary loan is a little bit slower right now because of the pandemic for physical materials, but for journal articles, we're still doing interlibrary loan services. And then we also have a laptop loan program right now. And unfortunately, all of our laptops are currently checked out for the semester, but that is something that we're going to continue to offer. So in the spring semester, students will be able to check out laptops through a request form on our website. And we're also hoping to acquire some more laptops. Hopefully, we're working on it. Student Affairs is working on that. So hopefully we'll have additional laptops to be able to check out to students in the spring semester as well.
Yeah, I know a big issue that, many people across the nation right now are facing is the need for technology and access. And it's something that, everybody's trying to work to address, and that laptop loan program is great. And now I think a lot of people are looking towards, what's the next step that can come from it. Maybe we can provide more, maybe, but we're working on it, and everybody's working hard to try to make sure that all of our students can get the resources that they need. So Sam just gave me a direct link to the library, and I'm going to drop that in our YouTube chat. So if we do have any parents or guests, you can check out the library's webpage. OLLU students know that you have access to the webpage, obviously from the main website, but you can also log into your portal and access the library webpage. So we have a comment on our YouTube. Sandra, thank you so much for watching with us. Yes, we love our students on the RGV campus. And again, know that you have all these resources available to you. Okay. Thank you for watching today, Sandra. So we have covered a lot about the library. I know we have some staff from the library here. Do y'all want to add anything? Do you want to share anything or introduce yourselves to our viewers? Sam.
Well, I was waiting for Mario to introduce himself, but I'm the library reference assistant. I sit at the reference desk Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays, and I'm on chat Sunday to Thursday. So if y'all do ever need live help, I am available. And just know that the library is always here for you all. And we look forward to helping you with all your research. So yeah, don't be afraid to contact us.
Everyone, I'm Mario Leyva. I'm a research instruction librarian here at the Sueltenfuss Library. I've been with the library since 2017. I'm pretty much one or two librarians that we have available. The other is my colleague, Kelly Driftmeyer. We're both always available to assist students and help you in any way that we can. We basically, for people who don't know really what librarians do in terms of what we actually, in terms of what we offer, we do a whole gamut of different services and we provide lots of different resources to students. We teach information literacy skills. We teach you how to develop a topic, how to begin a search, how to evaluate information correctly. And more so than just assisting you in that respect, we assist you in your studies and your coursework. If you're doing things within a research paper or things that you're not sure about, we as librarians, we're experts in information resources and how to use those resources. So we really are the ones that you need to come to and consult. And I really enjoy that part of my job. I love helping students on all our campuses. I work with students in Houston, I work with students in RGV, and I work with students here and on our online programs as well too. So I can generally say that, if there's anything that we can use to support you, we will. And if there's something that you need, we can get for you. As Maria had mentioned, we have services such as Get It For Me. We have our library chat, our Ask a Librarian service. Those are things that you can get some immediate access to assistance and research help if you need it. And I say to students all the time, take advantage of our knowledge, take advantage of what we have that's available because, we can help, save you so much time in your assignments and in your coursework. And that is an important thing. Just in, y'all have busy schedules, y'all have extracurricular activities, y'all got things going on. So, we can save y'all just 10 minutes out of your day where you don't have to worry about something. Well, we're going to do that for you.
I
So
have to say, I love the curbside pickup. I used it. I use it. I also love the online access to articles. I've used all the librarians, and I just feel really lucky to be in the library and have that access right at my fingertips. So I really want to encourage other people to take advantage of all the wonderful stuff we have here and visit the building too. It's beautiful. Stuff by the Ace.
Yeah, Dr. Kay is very right. You'll meet Dr. Kay a little bit later. Yeah, so the library and Mario, I do have to say, I do miss working with y'all and seeing y'all just kind of on a daily basis. That is something that we in ACE and the library, we work together very often. One of the reasons, besides the fact that we have very similar goals and same kind of directions for certain things, is because ACE, the Academic Center for Excellence, is on the first floor of the library. So that is our home. That is where we are located. We have a big, lovely glass room with green walls. I'm in here, in fact, right now, again, with Harry the hippo behind me. And we do have, COVID-19 guidelines in place, but we're going to get into that. Let's transition. Let's talk the other part of this open house, and that is, again, the Academic Center for Excellence. In the spring of 2015, the Academic Center for Excellence, or the ACE, opened its doors on the first floor of the Sueltenfuss Library. Comprising of two existing academic support centers, the Tutoring Center and the Writing Center. It also saw the launch of a newly created Math Center. The overall goal of the ACE is to provide academic tutoring and support for students. And as we have grown and transitioned and adapted to new things since 2014, we have become a beneficial resource for students, staff, faculty, and alumni of OLLU. So joining us right now to talk about one part of the ACE are two people who I absolutely adore, even though they keep trying to teach me math. And I can't do math. Right now we're going to talk to Dr. Daniel Cheshire, coordinator of the Math Center and math faculty. And Sister Ann Petrus, Doctor of Mathematics, longtime faculty member, and our beloved part-time professional math tutor.
Sabrina can do math when she wants to.
I just don't want to.
I know.
Dr. Cheshire, Sister Ann, how are y'all today? There we go, Sister Ann.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, excellent. Hey, are you there, Daniel?
Yeah, hey, I'm sorry. I just lost my audio for a second. Can you hear me?
Oh, but you are back.
Yes, okay.
You are back.
Great.
Okay. Dr. Cheshire, you have devoted a lot of your life to dealing with mathematics. Why is that important to you?
Well, I tell my students all the time that I just think mathematics is so much more than the formulas and the procedures we've been taught in school. I actually see mathematics as a creative way to understand the world that can help us think and communicate and even improve our minds. And with practice, I think anyone can learn to think more mathematically and learn how to find solutions to the problems that we all face every day. And I especially like to tell my students that you might even find that you love math if you just give it a chance. So I think math is great, obviously, because I'm a math teacher. But let me put that question back to you, Sister Ann. What do you think, what can learning and practicing mathematics do for us and do for our students?
Oh, lots of things. You know, Dr. Cheshire does this thing with his, oh, let me take this mask off of it. You could hear me better. Dr. Cheshire does a thing with his students where they practice math, ways of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. And he finds that that actually increases their capabilities, to think creatively and analytically. I think that's really cool. I have never done that with a class, but next time I teach one, I would like to try that.
Well, that's one of the fun things that we like to do, and often people think it's kind of strange that we're just adding and subtracting and multiplying numbers. But honestly, I think of math as being something that is it's something that improves and builds this awesome tool that we have in our heads, which is our minds, right, our brains, and I find that if I warm that muscle up, then I can really improve my ability to think not just about math, but about other subjects as well. So I'm always trying to really encourage my students to think about ways to exercise that muscle, even if they're, I tell my students before a math test, and just add up a whole bunch of numbers, subtract a bunch of numbers, and just do that for 5 or 10 minutes before the test. But I also tell them, do that before a history test or before an English test. It really does warm the brain up, and it's always really interesting to me to watch as my students run through these problems. They get faster and faster at it, and they feel a lot more confident. So I would argue that math is not just about learning to solve problems or think analytically like we've talked about, but really to improve and exercise your brain.
I did not like mathematics. I mean, yes, until I took geometry in high school, and boy, that put me over the edge. This is so cool because you could think all these things through. And I never had been that great at arithmetic, but geometry was so wonderful, and I've been crazy about math ever since.
So that reminds me of something. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln studied Euclid's Elements as a way of honing his skills as a lawyer and as a politician? So he would stay up by candlelight and he would read this ancient textbook about geometry in order to help him be a better debater and a better politician. So that really just brings it back to the point that I think that things like geometry, things like arithmetic actually improve our minds in so many different ways. So I'm a big fan of math, and obviously you are too. I think a lot of people might not realize that you actually have a PhD in mathematics. And
yes, you can call me Dr. Sister Ann if you want to.
It's either Sister Ann or Dr. Petrus, right?
That's right. That's right. Did you know that President Garfield was into mathematics, and he came up with a new proof of the Pythagorean theorem? That always impresses me.
That's one of my favorite proofs of the Pythagorean theorem. We'll have to write that up on our dry erase boards here, and people can walk by and take a look at it. So that's a lot about math in general, but let's talk about what we can do for students in terms of math, and not just math, but also other subjects that they might want to be tutored in.
Yes, please do.
We've had sort of an interesting learning experience ourselves about trying to figure out this technology. Now that we're dealing with this whole new world of online tutoring, we've had to kind of take a crash course in online tutoring, and Sister Ann is here every day with me, and we're just struggling to sort of figure out how all these things work. Let's talk about some of those tools we have.
Yes, some of the equipment is new, and some of the software is new. And we're just working really hard on getting that in a good state where we can help students as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
How about Whiteboard, Dr. Sue?
Yeah, so we have, among the new technologies we have, well, of course, we have a whole bunch of sort of online meeting software that we're using that allows us to share our screens and things like that, still look face-to-face with students, and really be as you know, maybe not as close and personal as we usually would be, but still interact in a personable way. We implemented Ziteboard, which is an online whiteboard platform that allows both students and tutors to upload, copy and paste, say, their homework problems or whatever problems they're working on into onto the whiteboard, where then both the tutor and the student can draw and write and draw graphs and things like that, and talk to each other at the same time that's going on. And now we've actually implemented, we've got ourselves a couple of document cameras, and what we're attempting to do, although we struggle with it from time to time, we're attempting to get it to where we can actually record some videos that would allow us to, you know, a document camera just allows me to show my handwriting. As I solve problems, I can work through it and sort of discuss what's happening as I do that. And those are going to allow us to actually create little modules where we can take a particular skill that we're talking about and work through some sample problems, and then just have those posted online so that students can, if they don't feel like talking to you or me, we can actually have them just go and work on individual skills as they need to work on them in their classes.
I don't know if folks have ever worked with a document camera, but I'm really enamored of it. It's a very small thing, the one that we've been using, and it can watch what my hand is doing, and not only can you see it, it gets recorded, as Dr. Sue was saying. It's very cool. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just to take that back to this whole concept of learning is, I mean, I think it's been kind of funny and kind of hard for us to figure out some of these technologies, but what I want to point out is I've been doing a lot of research about educational psychology and things like this, and it's so interesting to learn that when you are outside of your comfort zone, when you are learning something new, when you feel like it hurts your brain or you feel like taking a nap, it's actually, that's when you're learning. That's when you're learning the most. If you don't feel uncomfortable, you're probably not expanding your neurons and the tree-like dendrites that are growing out of them. You're not expanding any of that mental capacity. So it's really interesting to me to think about that as I struggle with new learning, and as Sister Ann and I sit here and try and, you know, we beat our heads over the computer trying to figure out how we're going to make these things work. we are learning. I'm not through learning, you know, and I really feel like it's a good lesson for our students as well, that that when you're feeling your worst, when you're feeling like it's just nothing is working and you wish that you didn't have to keep working on that homework, your brain is expanding, and unfortunately that's what it feels like. Just like running a mile hurts, learning new things hurts. So we're right there with you. We appreciate the hard work that all the students do.
I remember when I was in grad school, my expression for it was, I got to keep putting in the nickel. Like I would be trying to solve a problem and I would think about it for a while and then stop. And then it's like putting in a nickel in a slot machine. And then you get a little more energy. You've got that nickel to rely on. And so you keep thinking and thinking. And then you put another nickel in. And eventually, sometimes after sleeping, the answers to problems would come clear. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
probably.
That's what makes math so exciting.
Mm-hmm. It's probably more like putting dollars into the slot machine these days than nickels. But
these days, yeah. Back in the 70s when I was in grad school, it only took a nickel. We would just love to have some more of you students come and let us work with you, because it's always a privilege to do that. I don't know if you feel quite different about online tutoring. Maybe that feels like, ooh, what would that be like? And it's just me and this one tutor, and would I feel comfortable? I think you would. I'd like you to consider trying it out. If there's anything we could do to assist you in your learning process. When we were doing things in person, a number of you did come and see us. We'd like to see you in this new format as well.
Yeah, this is something that Sister Ann and I have been talking about, that we had quite a few students in the ACE, and then as soon as we transitioned to online classes, it seemed like a lot of that tutoring dropped off. And we would like to know, we'd like to hear from you why it is that you feel a little less comfortable with online tutoring, or you're worried that we can't help you in the same way. But we're here to tell you that we can. We have the technology to do it, and we're set to go. We're sitting around waiting to talk to you. So come on by.
We actually have some questions from the YouTube.
Just ask around.
I would love to hear some questions from the YouTube.
Okay. So our first question is, does ACE offer tutoring in computational algorithms and how to relate calculus to programming algorithms?
That's interesting. I have not spent a lot of time doing computer programming, but I've spent a lot of time doing calculus. So we could probably find ways to help you in those ways. We'd really just have to see what it is the actual question is, the questions are. But I would love to try. We do have several of our tutors who know about computer programming to some extent, but I don't know exactly the level of advancement that we're dealing with there. But let's try. The worst that we can say is, "Oops, can't help you."
And if we don't know it, then perhaps we can learn it.
Absolutely. It's actually my favorite kind of tutoring appointment, is something that where I don't know all the answers right away, and I've got to learn something new to help the student.
Yeah. I would definitely say to, I believe, Laura, who you asked in our YouTube chat, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give y'all some information in a minute about how to grab an appointment, and then we'll go from there. So we do have another question from Sandra. Is this board available only for math tutoring? I'm assuming you're talking about like the Zeit board that Dr. Cheshire and Sister Ann were talking about.
I would think so. Zeit board is certainly available for any of our tutoring. We've used it for other subjects, chemistry and statistics. It's really useful for math because it's useful for sciences as well, but it's useful because it has, on the tutor side, it has a formula editor, which allows us to either type or write a formula, and it will pop out on the screen as properly formatted, typed equations and things like that. So it's much nicer than trying to use a stylus or a mouse to, write all those exponents and square root symbols. So it's available for any of our tutors to use. They know how to use it, and if they decide that that's the best format, then absolutely it's available for other classes.
Great. And I'm actually putting in the YouTube chat right now how you can make an appointment. You're going to visit ollusa.mywconline.com. Again, that is OLLUSA.mywconline.com, and register a profile using your OLLU email address. And that is for security purposes that we require that. Once you're registered, you can log into the Tutoring and Math Center schedule and grab an appointment. It even gives you an option on the schedule to limit by which course you're in. If you ever don't see a course that you are in, or you have certain questions pertaining to other things, please email us. You can email us at tutoring@ollusa.edu, tutoring @ollusa.edu. And we'll definitely, we'll pass that on to people, and Dr. Cheshire often will talk to our tutors and see what we can do to help you. Okay. So let me put this in.
When you ask for an appointment, there's a place to tell us what particular topic you're interested in knowing about. So then if that's something we need to refresh for ourselves, we can do that before we see you. So that's a helpful thing when you sign up for an appointment.
I see. Oh yeah, and Sister Barbara actually also just Sister Barbara, who's one of our writing consultants, is also in the chat, and she's providing some information to people. Yes, we do have a whiteboard function within WC Online, which is our online scheduler that I just talked about, and that also allows you to interact with the tutor and the writing consultants. The whiteboard within our WC Online system utilizes the audio and video capabilities of your computer, so it's always going to ask you for permission. And if you give us that permission, that's great. We'd love to be able to see you and talk to you. If you are uncomfortable with the camera, that's okay. You can actually disable that camera, but we'd at least like to be able to talk to you. So, if we can, let's leave that audio on. And that just works for both tutoring and writing. That just works really well, that we can kind of sit and be able to have that conversation. Okay. All right. So much good information about the Math Center, and it is wonderful talking to you, Dr. Cheshire, Sister Ann. The funny thing is, for all our viewers, so Dr. Cheshire is in his office, which is off to that side of me from the open room, and Sister Ann is all the way across in the big room in the Math Center. So we are properly spaced and distanced, which is why we've removed masks. But right now, just to let everyone know, all of our tutoring is online. So, and that is again for the, the safety of everybody involved. Okay. All right. Dr. Cheshire, Sister Ann, thank you so much.
Thank you
for being here with us today. I know that y'all are teaching and have class and that in a little bit. Anything else you want to offer our viewers before we move to the next part of these?
We're here.
Seeing you.
Yep, we look forward to it.
And they really do. They miss people, and we miss people. And our tutors are available.
We're bored. Come here.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank y'all very much. And if I don't see y'all, Dr. Cheshire, Sister Ann, y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Ooh, we are moving along here. So we're going to talk about the rest of ACE, because the Math Center, the Tutoring Center, are just 2/3 of what comprises the Academic Center for Excellence. And I mixed up my words there. I try. Sometimes I do words good. Sometimes I don't. So we're going to talk to the lady of the hour, the head honcho, the boss, the lady who approves our paychecks. Dr. Kamara, how are you?
Hello.
What an intro, right?
Yeah. What an intro.
So again, funny thing, she's in her office, which is also across across the big room from me.
Sabrina's in that direction with my door closed, so I took my mask off.
Yes. So I'm monopolizing the giant room where we regularly sit for writing. Dr. K, we talked about math, talked about a little bit about tutoring, but of course there's more. So let me give a proper introduction. The Academic Center for Excellence, which includes the Math Center, as we just heard about. But I also have the Tutoring Center and the Mary Francine Danis Writing Center. And Dr. Kumar is our director. She's in charge of all of us and wrangling us like stray cats sometimes. But she does a wonderful job. And we're going to talk more about ACE. Dr. K, tell us a little bit more about who's actually doing all the tutoring here.
Yes, the ACE has both peer and professional tutors. All the peer tutors are recommended by faculty in the discipline. So they've completed the courses they're tutoring in with distinction. So these are people who have gotten A's and B's in these courses and really know the material, know the professors, so they have a rapport with the professors, and they also attend an ongoing training seminar that helps them learn a bit about tutoring and learning strategies. So the peer tutors know the material in the courses they tutor, and they develop skills in ways that best support learning. Peer tutors work in math and in the tutoring center. But we also have professional tutors in math and the tutoring center. I mean, you just met two of them, Dr. Cheshire, who teaches a math class, and Sister Ann, who is Dr. Sister Ann, and used to teach full-time here and has, as they both mentioned, and this is the wonderful thing. People say, well, will they know what I'm doing? And the answer is yes, but also they will, if they don't know it, as they mentioned earlier, that's fabulous, because then they have an opportunity to learn. And in learning it, they're helping you talk about the process they go through in remembering or putting together information to learn something. So our peer tutors are very resourceful. They're students, they know the teachers, and they're here to help you. But we also have the professional tutors, as you met, and in our writing center, the professional, I missed Laura, right? I wanted to mention Laura, who is also our science professional tutor. And she works with students in all the sciences. She has a master's degree in science. I believe she was in the biological sciences, but she helps in all levels of chemistry. And those of you who are biology majors probably know you end up having to take just as much chemistry. So she's here to work with our science students. And in the MFD WC, all the writing consultants are degree professionals. They mostly have master's degrees in English and education. And they're ready to work with writers on assignments from any discipline and in any genre. And I think the important thing to remember too about the ACE in general is that if you have the question and you go to the schedule and you hit the drop-down box in the tutoring and math schedule and you don't immediately see your course number, give us a call or email us and tell us what you're looking for and what kind of help you need. And we'll see what resources we have. We are very resourceful people. So yeah, a little bit about our people, and our people really are our greatest asset.
They really are. So the funny thing is that when we started this stream, I didn't introduce myself. For those that have been watching, my name is Sabrina. I am a senior writing consultant, and I am also the administrative assistant to the Academic Center for Excellence. So I just wrote, in fact, in our YouTube chat that I sometimes forget one of the tutors, and I apologize. It's never meant to offend anyone. I just have trouble keeping track of everybody. So yes, always the most important part of the tutoring center is, in fact, the tutors.
You know what? And I'm actually going to introduce Diego because I see him in here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hop on again, Diego? Are you still there? Diego is our graduate assistant, and he tutors in the Tutoring Center and in the Math Center. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Diego, and your studies. He does both. He tutors and he studies. So
yeah, my name is Diego, and yeah, I'm now a graduate student in Wave Lake. I'm also a tutor there, so it's very fun to be a tutor at the ACE because it's just you get to, I guess reach out in all the different fields that you're interested in, and you get to, I guess, really reach out to all the students in all the ways that you are able to. Because I was in undergrad, I majored in biology, and also was a pre-health track. So with that biology major, I was able to just take classes in chemistry, and of course like math and all the things that kind of were necessary for just science and pre-health tracks. And so with that education, has just really opened me up to be, okay, well, now what do I do with all this, breadth of knowledge that I have? And it's really now, because like now that I'm a tutor here, I can see that like there's so many different areas that you can help out with people with. So now I'm able to help people with the math, the science, OChem, general chemistry, biology, and even statistics, and any other type of thing. Also, it's really very flexible in how you can help people here.
And what's really cool about Diego is he has this breadth of knowledge, and he is now working toward going into the PsyD program. So he has all this information about learning and cognitive function, and the more you tap into what you know, the more you connect it to other things, and the longer it stays with you, and the better your conversations, right? And it's great because he's even been doing a little Spanish tutoring, haven't you, Diego?
Yes, nice, because there's with all these different type of things, you just meet so many different type of people from so many different places, and it's just nice to get those interactions. Yeah, like even though I was a biology major, that doesn't necessarily mean that I was going to go to a biology career. Like now I'm in the marriage and family therapy program, which is psychology, and it's just like, how did that come out? I mean, it was something that came out after I graduated, and so it's like part of the whole exploration process that I guess was, of course it's stressful when you're inside the whole undergraduate program, but it's also part of the journey, and I think it's nice to see everybody come through that.
Yeah. That's so cool.
So let's get hypothetical for a minute, okay? I'm a student, and I have all these tutors available to help me. I'm going to come in, I'm going to say, or I'm going to go online and get an appointment and, say, okay, I need some help. I plop down my homework. I paste it up in the whiteboard. Is this going to be the quick way to get things done, or how's this going to happen?
So that's the thing that, yeah.
Why don't you take a hit at that one first, Diego? Because I'm thinking students have to have more skin in the game. It just doesn't work like that. That's $1 million question, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people, like, they want just me to do their homework. And I mean, I could, but how much is that really going to help them at the end? And I think the people who, at least the students that have come to me and really gotten the most out of tutoring, have been the ones that have really tried to like understand what they've got out of each problem. So like really, if I just work out one problem, just work out like 10 problems, they're really not going to try to get the most out of each one. But if I go through one problem, explain each one, they say, okay, wait, what happened there? Can you like go over what that one problem? Why you did that? I think that's really going to stick in your mind, and you'll be able to do that afterwards. And so I think once you have the ability to do that by yourself, then you're not going to need a tutor anymore.
There you go. I
That's
mean,
the whole point. You're not going to want a tutor afterwards.
right. You know, it gets to the point where you're gonna learn how to study the material. You're gonna review some concepts and maybe your notes, and you're gonna discover how that concept connects to the homework and how you can apply it. And you'll have good conversations, and through that conversation, you're going to learn and retain a lot more knowledge. And next time you step into that homework situation and your brain is hurting, like Dr. Cheshire and Sister Ann were talking about, you're gonna maybe say, "Hey, I can talk to a tutor about this and talk through this problem, and I think I might remember it better, and things will click in." And that's actually how it works. So it's very interactive. You got to have skin in the game. You got to come with your books and your papers, and you have to be ready for that good conversation. And the thing that's nice is if you feel funny, like I'm not used to the camera. And it takes up a lot of bandwidth. So if you're not used to that, it's okay to turn it all off and just talk it through, right? But anyway, so you're gonna be in for a conversation. You're not gonna be able to say, "Here, just check it out," right?
Yeah, like, and at the same time, when I was a student, and I still am a student, like I understand what it's like just to have all the homework and just want to get it all done. You don't really want to care about like how in the process of just like understanding it all, and when you have like the next assignment next week, and yeah, because it's stressful, and like, you just want to get somewhere and somebody to just do it. But as like how all these classes in college goes, like it's one thing builds on the other one, and if you don't understand this one thing, you're not going to understand the next thing. And I think that's the whole thing, is that like if you fall back on this one concept, it's not going to help you in this next one. Some things maybe, but it's not really going to help you if you just say, okay, here, what is this thing? And can you just do it for me? Yeah, it's really easy to just come in here and be, okay, what's the homework? But it's just kind of like asking somebody just to do your homework. It's not what you want to do for yourself, because it's the best thing for your education.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny too, because very often you'll get into this rhythm with your homework, especially if it's your math homework, and you get this chunk of homework and it covers this one theory or this one concept, and you talk it through with a tutor and you just memorize it, and then you do it all. Then when you go to the test, you have to decide what concept applies to what problem, and you haven't really processed it enough to recognize. So the more you work and you talk and you remember how these things work, the easier it is to see the problem and recognize what concepts need to be applied. Right?
Yeah, that's also why they say like cram studying usually isn't that effective.
Yeah.
It may work for some at some points, but like in the long term, it's really not going to help you. I mean, you may remember like some little tiny bits, but a lot of times it's like just kind of luck, pure luck, that you're kind of getting those right answers.
Right.
And
You
then you
have
actually
no
have to like write up.
you have no context and
Mhm.
right.
So,
Yeah. So, you know, you want to do your homework, but you need to learn too. Great to come here, talk it through and get some of that accomplished. But now, not just checking homework, right?
yeah. And also it's like spacing out your tutoring ahead of time. That's also a useful tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. And you know what? For any viewers out there, you know, if ever you want to kind of even talk study habits, study skills, you know, how to organize things as you're, you know, know that you're going to have to be studying your material and, you know, gathering everything together. You can talk to our tutors about that. You can make an appointment and really just talk, okay, how do I study for this biology test? I have to know all this material. They help you with the skill development part of that. You know, we all can.
Yeah, and I would throw in on that. Now, remember, your notes are your friends, so start reviewing them now. Because if you see something in your notes that, oh, I didn't finish that idea, what does it mean? Now's the time to look it up. And if you do that regularly, studying when it gets closer to the exam is really reviewing and putting it together. It doesn't become as onerous and as you know, cramming like, which is what you want to avoid.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, you know, small little shameless plug, if you are looking for more information kind of on the study skills, organizational type things, even time management, hey, the ACE has a new web series out on our YouTube page called Playing the ACE. And every week we're going to cover a different topic, give you some tips and strategies for how to develop your study habits, how to kind of manage your time. So, you know, if that's something you're interested in, check it out. We have 2 episodes out, and every week we're rolling out a new one. Thank you, Diego, for being part of our conversation. I know we have Bernard also.
Yeah.
In here.
Thank you.
Are you there, Bernard? Can you? Hi.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hey, Bernard, how are you?
Very. What about you?
Oh, doing all right. Thank you for coming in and being part of our open house. Anything that you want to kind of add or talk to about, remind students of? You are one of our tutors, and you work with a lot of different students.
Yes. Hi guys, my name is Bernard. It's probably not what you're gonna hear today, so apologize for that. But I'm a tutor for math and economics as well, but like mainly math. And the students I get is from like all the different maths, college algebra, or prep math, and all this stuff. And I try to use, since I'm from Brazil, I have an advantage that sometimes we do stuff in different ways, but we find the same answer. So a very cool thing that I do, I help the person uh, in the American way. I'm gonna call it that. And if I see the person still doesn't get it, I say, look, there is this way that you might understand better. So I show this other way to do, and a lot of times it works. That it's been 3 years since I'm a tutor. It's just my second year here in OLLU, but in my junior college I was also a tutor, and I tried to do this, and I really saw people using the Brazilian way to do the math. And since you're getting the same answers, it's just another way to view the problem. I think that's a very cool thing that I try to show them, just in case, just to make sure, just in case the person doesn't understand the American way, because I try to help the people with what the professor is saying, so I don't go very far.
So Bernard, as he mentioned, is from Brazil, and of course, I bet you can guess that he's a soccer player from Brazil, right? So that means he balances a lot. He's got a job as a tutor. He plays soccer, so he's got a lot of practice, and of 4 classes, Bernard, or 5?
6.
Six classes. Tell us a little bit about how you balance your time.
I use a lot of calendar. I have a friend in Brazil that she helps people managing time and all of that. I never have problem managing my homeworks and all this stuff. But when I got here in the United States, I always was soccer, an athlete, a student, and a tutor. So having all of this, and I always had to manage my time. And this friend showed me a way to use the calendar. So I have the calendar on my computer. I put every single thing I have to do in the day. So as I don't know, set up my bed when I wake up. Just to when I put the check mark that I did something, it makes me feel like better. Okay, I'm already doing stuff. So what I do, I just put in the calendar all the homeworks I have. On Sunday, I look at all the classes I have, all the syllabus. So I see which homeworks I'm gonna have this week, and I just divide them throughout the week to see when I'm gonna do it, and also to don't I'm gonna be honest, I'm not, oh my god, you do everything in very prior time, but I try the maximum. I'm just saying that because, for example, I had a project due yesterday. Instead of starting yesterday, I start earlier, so I do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Because this is another thing I get in our appointments. When the appointment is too lengthy, the person get tired because, oh my god, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. So one thing I do in my week, I try to do just a little bit of homework. I don't need to finish today if it's not for today. So I do, okay, I'm tired. I do it tomorrow. It worked for me. I don't know if there is something that is against of that, but it works for me. Let me don't get tired of the homework I'm doing. So calendar, please use.
That is so fabulous, actually, and it works for you because that is a well-researched strategy. It works for everybody if they put it to use. It actually does, because you're right. Those long marathons at night just exhaust you. But if you can do a little bit for a half hour, 40 minutes here and there, it starts coming together, and it's a better project. So even you've used tutoring, haven't you, Bernard?
Sorry?
You've worked with the consultants, the writing tutors, and the tutors, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you work with them ahead of time, right?
Yes. Especially, I'm a number guy. I'm not the best one writing. So Sabrina was the little angel for me last semester because I had these final papers and I'm very like I need to do good. So I wrote everything and then I set up an appointment with her because of course a lot of English mistakes would show up, and also to see like each problem I have, and it's very cool. Like when I was a student back in Brazil, I always had this problem. Oh my god, I'm not gonna ask for a tutor. Like I think Sabrina talked about that, being shy of asking for help, and that's, I don't know the word I can use for that, but it's so simple. People are there to help you in whenever you have. Everybody has difficulties. You know, you don't need to be shy. You're not special. Like everybody has a difficulty in some subjects. I have is on math, but if you talk to me about biology, Jesus Christ, nope, nope. So I know I have this problem. And when I was in my junior college, by the way, I had to take anatomy. Whew, the professor and the tutor for anatomy, they were with me more than anybody else because it's not my strength. So you just have to relax. Everybody has difficulty in something. So just work on it.
Great advice. That is great advice. And we're not scary people either. We're easy to work with. And
Yeah.
Good chat about a subject matter really helps you remember it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. You know, Bernard, you hit on something that I do always talk about, and that's the fact that we don't have to be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid to ask for help. We all need it at some point or another, sometimes many times. And that's okay. We want you to reach out to us, to, email us, make an appointment. Let's talk about whatever it is that you may be struggling with. You also hit on a good point of, our writing center, because we do have a writing center. That's the third component of the Academic Center for Excellence. And our writing center, we work with everybody, regardless of subject matter. We work with everyone who's doing a project that involves writing. And so you can make, an appointment. Bernard, you also mentioned something really good, is you wrote your paper and then you came in to get some help with it. That's one way to do things, and that's great. We can help you in the writing center. We can help you from brainstorming all the way to you have a completed paper and you want to get maybe a second opinion on it. That is something that we do. Dr. K, what else do we want about the writing center? Most people will know the writing center. It's kind of weird for me to have to talk about it.
They do, and I think that what they need to know is that we can assist with all writing concerns. If you are writing a discussion post and you're worried that you're getting off topic or come in, a reflection, an essay, a research paper, a job letter, scholarship applications, and of course dissertations. We have quite a few people who come in for dissertations. We can help with any genre and in any discipline. You're the author, so you really have the authority over that paper. We're not going to take it over. Just like in a good tutoring session, we're really going to talk to you about it and tap into what you already know and see if what you know in your brain is actually coming out on the page in a way that a reader can understand. I know that first draft is one of those things where you know exactly what you want to say and you put it all in there. And it makes perfect sense to you because it's all in your head. And so you give it over to somebody to read and they'll say, well, I don't understand this part. And then you stop and you think, oh, well, you have to get this too. And so a good pair of eyes will say, well, who's your audience? Is that something that you need to think about while you're writing your paper? How can you revise it to make the context clear? So getting that next set of eyes is really good. Ultimately, no paper by virtue of going through the writing center is going to be perfect, but you are becoming a better writer. Even Bernard there is becoming a better writer. I know because I see his emails, and they're better and better. You start to think about your audience, you start to think about what you're doing. And so the goal, just like in tutoring and knowing and understanding your homework, is to know and understand your writing process, to think about the audience so that when you're doing that work, it all sort of comes together. And so these are resources you as a student have, and just it's really in your best interest to use us. Parents need to remember that too. Next time your student says something like, oh, I'm so stressed out about a paper. Or, oh, my math test is coming up. Did you go to the ACE? Who have you talked to, right?
Mm-hmm. Very much so. In fact, I'm in the YouTube chat and we just have a great little piece of advice here from someone who's trolling in our YouTube chat. And I think it's Dr. Zabella. And she said, there's no such thing as good writing. great writing is rewriting.
That's right. Hallelujah. There you have it.
So yes, we do. And again, the Writing Center can be reached same place, Tutoring Center. You're going to go to WC Online, and you're going to find the Writing Center schedule, and you're going to make an appointment. We are working online. We are available. We have many times available, even into the evenings and the weekends. So for anybody in our graduate programs, anybody who's working and going to school, we're going to try to provide as much time as possible outside of the normal hours that we can work with students. Okay, so that is available to you. I threw that link in the YouTube chat again, where this is posted later. We're going to have all of that information in the description. You can also look for our websites via the OLLU Wayne website, or you can go to our Writing Center blog, mfdwritingcenter.wordpress.com. So unfortunately, we don't have a full functioning website via the university. Hint, university. But we do have a Writing Center blog. And through this blog, we are able to release handouts, presentations. That's all there. It's available for you to download. You can download it, you can keep it. We make all this material for you. If ever there's something that you're looking for, hey, shoot us an email, writing@ollusa.edu. Send us an email and say, I'm wondering about this. We can put something out there, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a video. We are all about making videos right now. So we'd love to make videos on various topics. You may even see it on Playing the Ace, if that's something you want us to cover. What else, Dr. K? What else do we think we need to put out there for the world to know about us?
That now that we're in our pandemic state, you probably noticed that Bernard is in his place and Diego is in his space and I'm in my space, but we're all able to come together. So I want to emphasize the fact that if that you shouldn't hesitate to take to try out an online appointment. Don't hesitate. I know a lot of people enjoyed coming into the ACE because we're friendly. It's an open space. You could do your homework here and pause and ask somebody a question. You can still do that sort of thing. You can make an appointment if it's a quick question, something about economics or accounting or math or stats. Make the appointment. Have a chat with a tutor. Build that confidence up in what you're doing. And I do want to make a plug for our new schedule. When you go to MyWC Online, you notice that there's 3 schedules now. There's the Math and Tutoring Centers, which has all things math and all of our subject matter tutors. And we have our Writing Center schedule, all things writing. And we added what we're calling the Writing Cafe. What we noticed in the Writing Center is that students actually do like to come to the ACE and write, or they like to come into the library and write. And when they realize they have a question, they can go right to the librarian for some research information, or they can come down to the Writing Center, and if there's an appointment available, they jump in, or they might just be able to find somebody to ask a quick question to. So we don't have that now because of the pandemic, and we want to provide a space. It's that whole structure that Bernard was talking about and how the calendar has really helped him put everything in place and get his work done. The Writing Cafe is geared toward that. If you check it out, you'll see that there are open spots, and the spots are for an hour. And basically, you can plan to say, I'm going to write for an hour, and I'll write during the time that the Writing Cafe is open, so I can check in and hold myself accountable for that hour. So you might say, decide tomorrow at noon that you are going to write. And so you'll make an appointment at the writing cafe, and the moderator will come in, and on that day I'm the moderator, and I'll just say, hi, what are you planning on working on? And you might say, well, Professor Ceballos has a paper that we're working on, and it's a narrative, and I think I really want to work on developing my main idea. Great. So here's some tips about main idea. You don't have to have your thesis right away. You know, your thesis can be worked out over time. So get writing. And other tips. We have a little chat. You log in what you're going to be accountable for during this hour, and you write. You write. And by the end of the hour, you check back in with the moderator and you say, this is what I did. These are the areas that I think I've got punched up. These are the areas that maybe need a little bit more time. And you spent that hour or that 40 minutes doing something, working towards your assignment. Then you have more work done, and you might want to go over to the Writing Center and get an individual tutorial on that material, or talk to your professor. But the point is that we are trying in this online world right now to accommodate that need to still have a social connection and have a place to talk about your writing. So give it a try. Maybe it'll work for you. I know professional writers have enjoyed this sort of thing since the coffee shops have not been open. So yeah, that's something I wanted to give a plug for.
Definitely so. You know, try out that writing cafe. Again, if you want just kind of a online social environment where you can write and talk aloud. I talk aloud every time I write something. If I'm working on something, you come in, you know, back when we all could just walk into an office, you'd walk in and I'm talking to myself because I'm trying to work on something. But it is, and you know, and being part of ACE, you know, I'm a little biased. I love our area. But I think overall too, you know, one of the things that I love about not just ACE, but I love with the library as well. We are collaborative. We work hand in hand, not just because we are in the same building, which makes things a lot easier. You can find us all in one location. But again, we share a lot of the same goals, and what we're trying to provide for the OLLU community. With that, you know, we had a whole plan in place, and the whole idea was to have some of our faculty present with us on the call, part of the open house today. Unfortunately, everybody's busy. But that didn't mean that they didn't want to be part of things. So we have 2 videos from 2 faculty members who especially know and have experienced and believe in the importance of what the library and what academic support stands for and the things that we can provide. So I'm going to queue up a video for you. This first one we have is from Dr. Barnett, who is part of our honors program, and Dr. Barnett teaches in Dr. K.
Political science?
Political science, yes.
Political science, yes.
I have gone to many of her classes and presented. Have designed many presentations for her, which is probably on our blog site.
And honors.
In the honors program, but let's see what she had to say. That's not how we do that. Share content, right, Sam? Let's see. Gonna be that one? Nope, not that one. Maybe that one? Yes, Sam's shaking her head. Oops, I switched screens, sorry. Okay.
Whoops.
So it looks like we couldn't hear it though.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see here. Sorry, stream. Sorry. Share content. Sam's navigating me through this and she's nodding her head.
Sabrina, real quick, it's optimized for options. Yeah.
Motion and video, right?
Yeah, and then make sure that your little share your computer audio is checked.
Okay, got it. All right, we're getting this. We're gonna start at the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning.
Hi there, OLLU students. I'm Dr. Lita Barnett, and I teach political science, and I am honors program director. And I'd like to spend a couple of minutes just telling you about why I think the skills of research and writing are so important, no matter what your major might be. I remember when I was in college, I was very focused on what was due that week. You know, what paper I had to be working on, what were the requirements, what was the due date, how do I get a good grade on it. And I guess what I didn't realize is that every time I was doing that, I was getting better at it. I was training for my dream job that I have today. And so we might not realize that. We might think, oh no, I have to write another paper. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. It actually ends up being fun. And the really cool and important part is that you're going to be using that no matter what career path you choose, whether you're an attorney, a medical doctor, you are a consultant for a political campaign, you're a financial advisor and you have to write memos for your staff. Whatever you might find yourself doing, one thing is for sure, you will need to write well, and you will need to know how to find out information that is true and reliable and accurate. And that's a skill that every professional needs and has to have. So I really can't emphasize how important of a skill that you're getting when you're doing that every time you're doing these assignments, and also just how it gets easier over time. Now, the good news is that OLLU has wonderful resources to help us do that. I require papers in all of my classes, and I love the staff at the Writing Center, and I love our librarians. They're always working with my students to put on workshops, to explain how to find some crazy weird sources that I didn't even know existed, and they somehow know. And they help them out with that. They work one-on-one, and they also work in small groups, and they also work with your class. They're always available, and they're nice and cool. So definitely, if you have an assignment that's coming up, make an appointment with the Mary Francine Danis Writing Center, and definitely make an appointment with one of our librarians so that they can help you through this process. It's not only going to make it easier for you, but it will also help you earn a higher grade and help you to teach how to do a better job over time yourself each time you have to write a paper. Thanks, y'all.
Okay. Great video from Dr. Burnett. She touched on a lot of important things there for both the library and for the Writing Center. But, you know, they work hand in hand. Many a times we get students who gone up to see a librarian, and then, you know, their work has gradually moved into the writing element. And so, you know, librarian will tell them, hey, why don't you go downstairs? Sometimes students come here and we're working on writing and they need some further help with the research. And I love research, but I'm not the expert. So I'll say, you know what, let's go upstairs. Let's see if we can find Mario. Let's see if we can find Kelly. And, you know, obviously now it's a little bit different, right? We can't just walk up and that, but I'm going to still do the same thing. And we're still on both ends. We're still going to always encourage you to work with the various people that can help help you in your process, whether it's finding new sources, whether it's honing that research down to something, or, you know, writing it and how to write it and how to express that, even how to write the fact that you couldn't find resources that were modern or that were, you know, relevant to your topic. So I'm glad that at least Dr. Burnett could get that video in for us, and I'm very thankful for. Thank you, Dr. Burnett, for making that video and sending it to us. We also had a second faculty member who we wanted to talk to today, and again, she was very busy today, and I believe she's already in class. So I have a video from Dr. Valerie Martinez, who is in our history department, as well, and also part of our honors program. And again, very fortunate to have her video here for us today. So let's take a look at that. And I'm going to do this correctly this time. It would help if I opened the video. Okay, now that I actually have the video open, we're gonna share it. Okay, content, that. Again, wrong thing. Right? Okay. Maybe this isn't gonna work. Always playing with technology. I don't know if y'all could see it. You good? Okay. Then I was doing it right. I just got very nervous about it. I'm working on it stream. Nobody hate me. It's a delicate process. Nope. Okay.
Thank you for tuning in today for this extremely important presentation about research and writing. I want to first thank Dr. Kamara and the Academic Center for Excellence, as well as Maria Cabanis, Director of the Library, for this lovely invitation to come speak with you again on the importance of research and writing. So I have worked with several members of both staffs, including Sabrina Sertuche from ACE, Mario Leva, and Kelly Driftmeyer from the library, and I have absolutely nothing but gratitude and praise for these individuals. All three of you have spent what I'm sure amounts to hours with my history and honor students, and I'm so thankful for your time and your expertise. So first, I wanted to explain from my perspective as a historian and as a faculty member within the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, the importance of research and writing, okay? So students in all my classes, from my entry-level surveys, History 1301, 1302, to my upper division courses, as well as even my honors 1300 class, all of these classes partake in writing exercises and research, okay? So when thinking about the importance of writing, I often turn to the wisdom of Fareed Zakaria, who, in his 2015 work in defense of a liberal education, reminds us that, quote, no matter who you are, a politician, a business person, a lawyer, a historian, or a novelist, writing forces you to make choices and brings clarity and order to your ideas. Okay, so you may have the most brilliant of ideas, but it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to fine-tune those thoughts into coherent ideas that you can then articulate onto paper. Okay, so in my classes, we do this, as many of you will know, all right, we do this, we fine tune those ideas, and I have a lot of writing exercises for you, okay? So when it comes to research, this is one of the most gratifying exercises I think one can do. So whether you are in the University Archives or the CDP Archives, or in the Center for Mexican American Studies and Research Archives, I mean, or at the National Archives, right? You have to have patience. All right, you may go one day or two, or in my case, like 2 weeks, without finding something that you can use. But boy, if you've ever conducted archival research, the day you find something, you feel like you hit the lottery, okay? Ask a student who's ever conducted archival research, and they can elaborate on this experience. But having these skills, y'all, okay, having these skills of coherently articulating original research, or perhaps even articulating that secondary qualitative research and analysis, is so important to whatever field or profession you go to, okay? By having these investigative research research skills, these critical thinking skills, coupled with strong writing skills, y'all. I mean, you are all essentially building a strong foundation for your future job or jobs, okay? So, former President Bill Clinton stated, this is a quote, "We are currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't been invented in order to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet." Okay, that comes from another book that I use in my honors course. Okay, it's this one right here. It's College: What It Was, Is, and Should Be. So, if you're interested in that, you know, you can find some really cool stuff about liberal arts education in both of those books. But essentially, this is what humanities courses, this is what history, what English, all of these courses we're preparing you for. Okay, we're preparing you for the future. But we as professors have and we need help to reach each of you at an individual level. And this is honestly what the ACE Center and what the library is here for, okay? I had, again, these three individuals, Sabrina, Mario, and Kelly. These three people came to my classes and they presented information on how to find primary and secondary resources using our own university resources, okay? They help students on how to construct a thesis, all right? They would sit down with you and they literally, I mean, they helped you construct your arguments, okay? Each of these people are extremely familiar with my assignments, such as the book review on the Founding Brothers, or the analytical paper on the Harriet Jacobs text, or even with your own oral history paper. So if you need any help with my assignments in particular, or any other writing and research assignments, I highly recommend you visit ACE in the library, okay? In conclusion, I mean, I really hope you all take advantage of the great people we have and their expertise, and I wish you all a safe and healthy day, okay? Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm here for you, and I know these folks are extremely excited to have you visit them as well. Okay, well, take care. Bye.
Another great video. Yes,
I have to just say, I love the Zakaria book. I think that he hits it on the head in terms of what you're doing here at a university. You really are learning how to think in multiple ways in every single class. And I'm always amazed when people say, well, why do I have to take this class? And I think he answers that. You have this opportunity to think in unique ways in each course you take, to mull over ideas, to do research, to write, to learn how to articulate ideas, because ultimately you are being trained for who knows what job in the future. You're building the capacity to think in ways that will allow you to adjust to any job that looks interesting, or to the demands and the changes within your field, by stretching yourself intellectually and learning how to write and to research in those areas. Because ultimately, you know, if your boss in whatever field you're in asks you to do something and you're like, not sure what to do, well, you actually do. You go to the library and you find out, and then you write down some of the things you find out, and you try to put it together, and you consider the context your boss asked for, and you find the answer. That's because you have a degree. And we're here to help you learn to use all of those resources.
Exactly. I hear we have a student with us.
We do. Brittany has joined us. She is a library and an ACE user, and so I asked her to join us and tell us how and why she uses the spaces.
Hear me?
Yes,
Yep, we
I can hear you. And look at you're socially appropriately masked, because I know she's in the library right now working.
Yes. Yes. First, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me. Um, I'm not used to doing this sort of stream thing, but a few things I want to say about my experiences with the ACE and the people inside the ACE is everyone is very supportive and they really do love um, like what they do. Because it's one thing to know knowledge and to teach it, but it's different when you know that person loves what they do, and so like you get excited about it. Like for me, as what Sabrina says, like she doesn't like math. I don't care for it that much either. I can do it if I try, but it's one of those um, things that I sometimes confused with. But whenever I had like Dr. Salako or um, the tutors inside the ACE, it kind of opened my mind to okay, math isn't that bad. It's achievable, and once you get another perspective on whatever you're working on, it's like okay, I understand it step by step. And another thing is that was mentioned many times throughout the stream is to never hesitate to ask for help. I was one of those that hesitated a lot. And actually, the way I discovered the ACE was through Dr. Kamara. She was my professor when I first came to the lake. And, of course, it was promoted quite a bit. And she's like, oh, you should go. And I was like, okay. And so she's like, have you made an appointment? Have you made an appointment? And I was like, yes. And so, and once I stepped foot, because for me, I do get quite nervous, with first impressions. But once I did it, once I had that nudge to go in and get help with my writing, I was like, okay, I like this. Like the ACE is very welcoming, as with many other offices on campus. And I just want students to know that. And for me, what I do with my friends is I guide them. Like if they ask me something, I'm like, well, there's this office and they do just that. And, I have this PDF and I'm like, this is so and so, she's, they're chill. Just say hi. And so, and I have, I'm proud to say I've made many referrals to multiple offices. And just to be that nudge for other people, like Dr. Kamara was with me. And I just, as someone who is very introverted, I understand the intimidation factor. But now that I've dipped my toes in the water, I encourage others to do so. And it's not as intimidating as it seems.
No.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you, Brittany.
much. Yeah, that was really nice because it can be intimidating, especially if you're an introvert. I get that.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. It can be. Often we would see, people kind of linger outside of ACE, and we gently approach and be like, "Hey, you want to come in?
Come on in."
Yeah. What are you doing? How are you? I do the same. I do the same for the library because I'll get students. Like I said, I'll get students who have questions about research, and I'm like, "Have you talked to a librarian?" And sometimes it's like, "I can do that." I'm like, "Yeah, you could do that." I go up all the time, and I'm like, how do I find this?" I do that. I do that to Sam all the time. I do that to Sam all the time.
They have some sort of magic, I think, in terms of finding things at the library. Having worked with both Maria and Kelly and Mario, I think you guys think it's just keywords and such, but how you find some of the things you find is very exciting. And I would say, crazy not to use that resource. It's incredible.
Yeah, and just piggybacking on that, I think one thing that I was just thinking as everybody's been talking is about, it's not just for research for your assignment, just like it's not just about this one paper that you're writing. It's about getting some skills that are going to be invaluable to you throughout your career, but also just your life. So when thinking about information, for example, this is such a confusing information environment that we live in, where we're consuming information all the time from the media, from social media, from the internet, and not understanding necessarily where to direct our attention to and how to absorb that information and evaluate its credibility and reliability. So it's not just, this assignment or research paper, and it's not just your career that you potentially may need to use these skills, but who are you going, how are you going to find out about who to vote for? How are you going to find out about what's going on in the world, and how are you going to make sense of that information? And how are you going to evaluate, things like bias and context and just the sheer amount of information that's available? And so in library science field, we talk about different levels of information. So you start here with like data and then information, right? And then, but there's other levels above that that involve more analysis to get to something like knowledge. And then at the very top of that pyramid is wisdom. So it's not just that we have all this information available, it's that we have that skill set to make sense of it, to understand it, to be critical of it. And so I think that those, just listening to the faculty pieces too, and thinking about what research and writing skills really do for you long term throughout as you're a learner throughout your whole life.
I want to just throw in too. I'm so glad you said that, Maria, especially in this season of voting, right? The very first place I found as a young 18-year-old where I felt like I could get solid information about the candidates that wasn't filtered in some way from a biased perspective was in a library through the League of Women Voters newspaper. That, people, I don't think they put a newspaper out anymore. Do they? No. So the thing is now you can find it online, but I never would have stumbled upon that. And the information they give, the candidates actually give their background and they give their stance on key issues of the day. And so you get statements unfiltered directly from the candidate. And there's no sort of, we want you to vote this way in this newspaper. It literally is, here are the candidates, think about what you want to do. And so that whole idea of getting information and being able to filter through information to get the right kind of information. You might be looking on websites that you don't know how to identify, which is why we have all these problems through Facebook, right? Librarians will show you how to identify all that stuff. So you get to not just data, but you can get into the knowledge and then the wisdom. How do I pick the right material to read? That's no easy task to develop. And you have 4 years here to learn that. And it's wonderful. So I've carried that with me all through life. And I felt like I hit the mother lode with that newspaper, I have to say. And, it was in a library.
Information is power. It really is. And knowing what information is valid and credible is very important. Well, we're coming to the end of our stream. Brittany, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I know it is sometimes unnerving to be on camera. And considering that I threw a webcam at Dr. K and said, well, you're going to be on camera today. I understand that for everybody. And you know what? I have a film and TV degree, y'all. I'm used to it.
Well, Sabrina told me, I said it's creepy to be on camera, and she said it's creepier to look at a flat face talking out of nowhere. So
I mean,
taken.
I edit all our footage, Dr. K. It after a while it gets a little weird. But no, Brittany, thank you so much for coming in today. I do miss seeing you when you would stop by and that. I hope you were doing well. You're probably upstairs somewhere, but I hope you were doing well. With that, I think we have taken up enough time of our viewers for this afternoon. So we're going to kind of wrap up here. First off, let me thank everybody here and all of our participants for today's live stream. Dr. K, Sam, Maria, Brittany, to everyone else who was on our show, our professors who gave us videos. Thank you all for letting me con y'all into a live stream. I appreciate that. Yeah, again, I get to put my degree to work and I love it. But thank you especially to anybody who is viewing today. Whether you watched during our live stream airing, whether you're watching later at some point, you're at home late at night and you need something to maybe help you go to sleep. But thank you again for watching and being part of it. You can find us. You can contact us. Like I said, I've given the several emails throughout the stream. We're going to put all those emails and phone numbers in our description. And for both the library, various librarians, and for the ACE. So we'll have all of that out there. If you need something, if you have questions, please email us, call us, get a hold of us. Okay, we want to answer those questions. We want to be able to provide, as much help as we can to you. Upcoming events. What do we have? Do we have anything special going on? Anybody? Sam, Maria?
Playing the ace.
Playing the ace. Don't be surprised if you see some of the people that were on our live stream today in an episode of Playing the Ace, because we will. We're starting to send out those invites. We're also going to have a few special live streams, maybe at the end of every month for Playing the Ace. So that'll be our live show. Don't be surprised, Maria, if you get an invite. Brittany, you want to come on our show, Brittany? I'll send you an invite. We'd love to have you. We do want to get some students engaged in our show. So, hey, if you're interested in being on Playing the Ace, send us an email. Other than that, I know that the university, we have several things coming up. I believe we do have a Club Rush event coming up soon that it will be properly spatially distanced. And, everybody will be wearing masks and we'll be safe. Hopefully it's not too hot when we have that because I think it's outside. But I think sometime, in the next week, we'll be out at Club Rush. So we'll be out there. Our social media. We have social media. Sam, where's the library at?
So you can find the library on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles are at OLLU Library. And we are also on Facebook. We're just the Sueltenfuss Library. Okay.
And the ACE as well. Here on YouTube, we're the ACE at OLLU. We are also on Instagram, OLLU_ACE. You can find us. You can find us through other people too. We're on Facebook. Again, check out our blog. All of our social media is linked through our blog, mfdwritingcenter.wordpress.com. So please feel free to check that out. We also have links to information from the library. I'm getting something in the chat. We will rectify that link in our YouTube chat. Let's see. Find us online. Like I said, reach out to us. We want to know and talk to you. Okay. All of our tutoring is available. All of our librarians are available. Library services are available. We're here and we're functioning and we're ready to help. Anything else before we leave our lovely viewers? Anybody have anything they want to add?
Visit us.
Everybody shaking their head. Visit us, yes. Utilize these
really
resources.
Lonely.
I love your background, Sam. Yes, it is. It's very quiet. It's very quiet and yes. we cannot let the effect of the pandemic fully hold us back from reaching for the things that we need, asking for help. Don't feel like you are alone. You are not isolated. You are not alone. Okay. We are here. We're available, even if we talk online, if we Skype, if we, like I said, online tutoring appointments. We're going to be able to see you. We can talk to you. So even if, hey, make an appointment with me, even if you just want to talk. I will happily talk things through with people. But we are here. Okay. We are here. We are still here for you. We're going to be here for you. If you have any questions, let us know. Again, I'll make sure that everything's in the description for the video, so you'll have some place to click. With that, I think we are done. And I think now we offer our goodbyes. So if everybody wants to go one by one.
Have a good day. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the ACE.
Hope we see you in the library very soon, and I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone. We look forward to helping you and seeing you. And thank you, Sabrina and Dr. K, for setting up this awesome live stream.
Thank you all for having me, and goodbye, everybody.
Okay. I think we're going to leave you now. But no, we may be gone, but we're still here. So with that, have a good day, everyone. Have a good week. Remember, wear your mask, spatially distance, like Harry and I are doing. Harry the hippo. Don't forget to vote. If you need some help looking up anything about voting, call the library. We'll see y'all.
Bye.